But as she sits there, the bride suddenly remembers something the air hostess said earlier, a passing comment about an upcoming promotion she was vying for, one that would rely heavily on customer reviews. A spark lights in her eyes. She knows this isn't just about calling out bad behavior, it's about making sure accountability follows. Before stepping off the plane, she exchanges a knowing look with a few fellow passengers, many of whom nod in silent agreement. Unbeknownst to the air hostess, she's not the only one who noticed the bride's unfair treatment. As the doors open and the bride steps into the terminal, her plan is already in motion. But this time, she's not acting alone. As the bride and her husband walk through the terminal, she quietly presses post. Her carefully written account, shared with her sizable online following, includes every detail of the air hostess's behavior, calling for professionalism and respect in such roles. Within minutes, notifications start pouring in, likes, shares, and comments from people outraged by the treatment she endured. Meanwhile, a group of passengers who had witnessed the events unfold also take action. Some approach the airline's desk to file formal complaints, while others share their experiences online, tagging the airline and ensuring the story spreads. The air hostess, unaware of the brewing storm, is busy preparing for her next flight when she receives a call from her manager. The twist? Among the passengers was an influential journalist known for exposing poor service experiences. They publish an article amplifying the bride's story, sparking a viral response. The airline issues a public apology and announces an investigation into the air hostess's conduct. But the bride isn't done. She closes her post with a powerful message about kindness, resilience, and standing up for dignity. What started as a moment of humiliation transforms into a movement, ensuring no one else faces the same treatment. As she and her husband finally leave for their honeymoon, she smiles, knowing she turned pain into purpose. And she did it with grace. As the bride and her husband board their connecting flight, the weight of the earlier incident begins to lift. Her phone buzzes with messages of support, not just from friends and followers, but from strangers who read her story and shared their own experiences of unfair treatment. She takes a deep breath, feeling a sense of closure. Back at the airline, the investigation leads to swift action. The air hostess faces the consequences of her behavior, serving as a reminder to others about the importance of treating every passenger with respect. The company promises changes to ensure such incidents don't happen again. For the bride, the ordeal becomes more than just a personal victory. It's a chance to inspire others to stand up for themselves with dignity. As the plane takes off, she looks out the window, holding her husband's hand, ready to leave the negativity behind and focus on their future. The room went silent. The mother's face was a mix of shock and gratitude, but before she could respond, the teller cut in. "Sir, that's not how things work here," he said curtly. The man didn't back down. "Maybe that's the problem," he replied. His words hung in the air, challenging everyone to rethink the rules they blindly followed. Rebecca froze, realizing this small act of kindness had just sparked something bigger than any of them had expected. The teller sighed loudly, clearly annoyed. "Sir, if you're not here for your own business, I suggest you step aside," he said sharply. But the man ignored him, pulling a few crumpled bills from his wallet. He turned to the mother. "It's not much," he said softly, "but I hope it helps." The mother's eyes filled with tears as she tried to protest. "I can't accept this," she whispered, but the man placed the money in her hands anyway. "Sometimes we all need a little help," he said. Before anyone could say more, Rebecca stepped forward, her voice steady. Wait, she had made up her mind. Breaking every rule in the book, she took the mother's check and began processing it herself. The teller started to object, but Rebecca didn't flinch. "If this costs me my job, so be it," she said firmly. As the transaction completed, something unexpected happened. The bank manager, who had been quietly observing from his office, stepped out. Everyone braced for what they assumed would be a reprimand, but instead he addressed the room. "Rebecca," he said, "thank you for reminding us what we're here for." Turning to the mother, he handed her a small envelope. "This is from our hardship fund," he explained. "We don't advertise it, but it's meant for people like you." The mother's hands trembled as she accepted it, overwhelmed by the kindness. The room fell silent as the mother thanked them all, her voice choked with emotion. Just as she turned to leave, the man who had stepped forward earlier caught her eye. "Pay it forward someday," he said with a smile. And in that moment, everyone in the bank felt a quiet shift, a reminder of the power of compassion and the difference one small act can make. As the mother stepped out of the bank, the weight she had carried for so long seemed just a little lighter. She clutched the envelope and the small stack of bills, not just as money, but as a symbol of hope. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen. Her son would have what he needed tonight, and that was more than enough. Inside the bank, the atmosphere had shifted. Rebecca returned to her desk, nervous but proud of what she'd done. The manager gave her an approving nod, letting her know she had done the right thing. The man who had offered his own money quietly left without fanfare, but his actions lingered in everyone's minds. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness create ripples far greater than we imagine. And as the mother walked home that day, she vowed to one day do for someone else what strangers had done for her.